Hey there, it's CJ Miller, and I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. Uh, and it's in Northwest Louisiana, and I always invite people to come check us out if you're passing through. I know some people are coming back from Mardi Gras down in New Orleans, and if you are passing, today's Fat Tuesday, so today's Mardi Gras, so you'll probably party, you'll probably sleep in tomorrow. And then maybe tomorrow or the day after or whatever. But if you're coming through, driving through or whatever, stop and check us out. Okay, so this little box of recipes, and actually it's a pretty decent sized box of recipes. Um, this was my mother's, and it started in the early 1980s. And I want to say maybe it had to have been, we lived on in the Southern Avenue house that we lived in for 2 years, and then it was for 2 years that we lived in the Villa Marquis apartments across town that we moved to. Uh, so yeah, but that's it had to have been when we started because we didn't really stay in one place for too long. So this was something that they would send some recipes to you each month, and then they would send you. It's one of those things where it was a subscription, and it was like pre-internet, obviously. I mean, governments had internets, and but you know, it was so early on that War Games may have been the new big film out. That's how far back this was. So uh, yeah. Anyway, you would subscribe. So uh, and these are great. And they're inspired classic recipes, like barbecued spare ribs. Everybody knows how to do those. But and so they would show you, and then they would give you the recipe on the back, and then uh, you know, and this was apparently grandma's, uh, you know, so comforting potatoes. Let's see, did the potatoes come before or after? Nope. I'm all about some potatoes. I feel like they should be a bigger potato. But yeah, you know, uh, how interesting, and it's like, simple recipes, but some of them are not so simple. But yeah, I was like, potatoes Florentine, huh? Let's see what this is about. And what I like to do when I'm flipping through here, and I remembered these when I was a kid, is that you pull up a couple of them so you could kind of save your place. Otherwise, oh my God. They never, after all this time, they're not in the order they came anyway. Uh, so Florentine, back in my day, meant spinach, although it's probably named after the Florence in, you know, Italy, that area, but I don't know. Uh, uh, and then it would give you the recipe, and then it would use like these apparent grandma. Now these were like not. This was, I mean, who this? I mean, this is probably this grandma character. It is probably just that. It's probably just a character for the company that was doing this. Because these recipes, they look a lot like recipes that you'd see in the traditional cookbooks of the day. The Betty Crocker cookbook comes to mind. These are similar recipes to that. Uh, um, because Betty Crocker recipes in that day was the go-to. As a matter of fact, that book is still classic. You have that one for the American cooking, and then you have the Julia Child for the French cooking or whatever. So, and then some of these are stuck together. Oh, what is that? Are they really? Yeah, stickier than the magazines that I used to keep. I'm sorry, that was a bit. So yeah, this looks almost identical to the cookie recipes that I would see. Get the pictures in some of the cookie recipes that I would. Okay, so let's come. I imagine. Let's see. That needs to come. That's in desserts, I suppose. Yeah, that's it. Uh, Cookies and then treasured desserts would come back here. No wonder they're sticky. Treasured desserts. Yeah. That cookie should be. Oh, yeah. There's a whole bunch of cookies. Yeah, these are. Oh, who doesn't love a good chocolate fondue? Okay, so anyway, I don't know when they did these. I wonder if there's any sort of date or publication on this. Well, so this is something that I wouldn't have thought of, and I've done similar things. A good chicken and brown gravy, and I've even had it with buttery noodles, but I've never thought of doing stroganoff style. But that's where you have like a little bit of sour cream or something, maybe some mushrooms or something. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I don't really care for mushrooms. I always leave the mushrooms out, and often uh, I don't. When I do like a something like that, I try not to do too much. I try not to over. This is one that I've never been overly fond of. This is one I think even Mom, when she got it, we looked at. I remember this. It was like, oh, well, we're never making that. Uh, I would take some of these flavors maybe and puree them. I don't really care for corn, but then and then use them in as aromatics in a beef or something like that. Let's see. Uh, oh, it's a ham. 12 ounces of smoked ham. I imagine people would probably use spam. We would have back in the day. Ham was expensive. We would have used ham or luncheon meat or something like that. Um, a ham and tomato stew. But it just, I think this picture, we just didn't like the way that it looked too much. But I suppose if you take it, like, I don't know. There we go. There we go with the herb chicken. Let's see how different this is from some of the herb chickens that I make. Roasted chicken, cup of water, onion, chopped spinach. Okay, interesting. Prosciutto or baked ham. Uh, cool. I've done similar things. Okay, I've done similar things. I've usually done like a chicken breast and have done like a creamy lemon cream. Uh, okay, so but I remember that these would come in and it was one of these things that she got it, started getting them, and we really enjoyed some of them. And whoa, this was in the 80s. It was before wings were the thing. Like if you go anywhere today, you're going to see wings uh, uh, as an appetizer, chicken wings as an appetizer. Back in the day, that was not so. This it was wings were not on every single menu. So not here. We mostly had localized restaurants, and you know, how is it? Sweet and spicy wings. Okay. Maybe would leave out the honey. Leave out the ginger root. Or certainly I would reduce it. And there'd be no need for the orange or lemon unless I were trying to go with the citrus. So I would leave those out unless I was going with the citrus. But then everything else, um, salsa, huh? I guess to dip it in. See, we have evolved from this. This was before the hot. This was before the buffalo wing craze. So it's a unique twist on it. And if you want to go extremely retro, but yeah, let's see if I can't find a Aha. Grandma's Kitchen Treasured Family Recipes. I remember being a little boy when these came in. Uh, Elementary, and then I really do think I was maybe in fourth grade. Uh, but at least it would have been when we moved that I would have started fifth grade. Because this is like the kind of thing that she was like, oh, okay, we'll try those out. And then uh, order them through the mail. And then eventually say, you know what? I I'm not gonna keep this subscription or something like that or whatever. Or, you know what I mean? Like, and I think she just finished out that commitment. But it was like, yeah, they used to do this stuff, and it wasn't like it was like you know you didn't sit up all night long watching television, network television. Network television ended at say 12, 1 o'clock would go off the air. Uh, oh my God. Okay, so this one is one that I need to try. You could buy this one in a store, right? I think you all know the pie that I'm talking about. But this one is chocolate. Okay, to get clean, even slices. So it gives you a tip on serving here. Okay, chocolate syrup, semi-sweet chocolate chips, uh, rice cereal. That is probably for the crust. Uh, Sour cream. Okay, why not? That's something I would have not thought about. I maybe would have thought about heavy cream or creme fraiche, but I would not have thought about sour cream. You understand that creme fraiche was not a big term thrown around at this time, not even on the cooking shows that we would see. And most of those happened on PBS, uh, you know, or you get the occasional recipe on your news and like maybe, um, what was the first one? It was not Mr. Food, although I like Mr. Food. It was Chef Tell. Uh, would do the occasional back in the day. He was like the first Chef Tell in the late 70s, early 80s was the first uh, celebrity kind of chef that I could think of, and he would do like you know quick recipes on the evening news, and I don't even remember which networks. But he was syndicated on multiple networks. Like it was one of those things where he would like, you know, show. And then we got Mr. Food, uh, and then but that came later. But between Mr. Food, we had the Frugal Gourmet. Now he got uh, canceled for some very unsavory, as savory as his food is, he got some unsavory behavior issues. Uh, I don't know that there was any convictions officially, but there was some settlement. You know, it's who knows, but nothing more came of it. But it was, you know, anyway. Uh, you look that up if you want to. But as a chef, I really did enjoy and admire the things that he did. It was a frugal gourmet, and he just didn't. I mean, frugal. Like he made use of everything, you know. Uh, and so, of course, everybody knows Julia Child. Okay, so this is a chicken Wellington, which is probably easier to do than a beef Wellington. Certainly was cheaper. So this kind of collection here, what I see is a lot of, as I see a lot of taking the classic, um, very classic recipes that have graced the tables in the most, you know, posh type restaurants, like a beef Wellington or something like that. And I see them kind of like looking at budgets for the home at the time. So, so skinless, and then salt and pepper, butter divided, chopped onion, port wine, which was optional, which is good. I typically don't do wine. Uh, oh, so this is cool. You take your puff pastry already made and wrap it around. So they were kind of aware that a lot of people were using some kitchen saving steps. A lot of recipes of the day did that. Like you would, instead of getting all the steps all the way through, you would be told, maybe, say for instance, some recipe books, especially there was one that was a stovetop recipe book, and there was one that was a Campbell's soup recipe book, and they actually had recipes in common. And one of my favorite is a stuffing. It's a sausage and chicken stuffing, and it's in both of the books. And what you would do is you would take like your stovetop stuffing, and you would take your Campbell's chicken soup, and cream of chicken soup, and you would take your cream of celery soup. Also, I use, and then you would combine that with sausage and chicken, and toss that into the stuffing mix. Do it to your preferred ratio, but generally a quarter, and then a half. So a quarter chicken, a quarter sausage, and a half of the stuffing mix, and then put in the condensed soups, and then enough moisture to blend all that together, and then lay it out in your pan, and then toast it. And people will love that. If you want to, you could throw some eggs in. If you want to do a little bit of a chopped up celery in there to add to it, or something like that. Whatever kind of bits and pieces you want to add to your stuffing to make it your own. But that generalized formula that I just gave you: half sausage, half chicken. A quarter sausage, a quarter chicken, half of the stovetop, and then the small can, condensed can of cream of chicken soup, and the same size can of the smaller one of the condensed cream of celery. Uh, and then water to moisten, and then whatever kind of aromatics. If you want to chop in some onion, chop in some celery, or whatever. I like to throw in eggs. I like to throw in celery, and I throw in the occasional bit of garlic. And then it's dependent upon, and a good cornmeal dressing. The last time I did that, I did one at Christmas. I did not like it because I will say I was using my oven for the first time, and I was doing a turkey and a ham and a few things in there at the same time. And so what happened was the dressing got too dry. And had I realized it before serving, I could have corrected it by adding some more moisture to it, and then doing a quick. But it wasn't a great dressing. It was not good. So then, but I did something similar, but with the course correction done. That was Thanksgiving that it didn't turn out, but on Christmas it actually did. It was a course correction. Same recipe. I just adjusted the ratios of the moisture, and it came out fine. But yeah, back in the day, a lot of those recipes would say, "Hey, use this." But also these fresh ingredients, but they would combine the fresh ingredients with store-bought ingredients. They would combine. So it was a way to get. Sometimes they were name brand suggestions that you use, such as in the cookbooks for the Stovetop and Campbell's, and they're owned by the same, or they were at the time by the same manufacturers. And then, oh my God, this is good. So that's checking this out. This is something that is really easy to do. Manicotti. And I don't have, unless I have people over or something like that, I don't necessarily have a reason to make a lot of fancy dishes. So a lot of what I do at home while I'm keto dieting is eat on, chicken wings or something like that, that are everywhere now, varieties of it. So I'm so excited about this. This is my mother loved these, and I remember she would get them and we'd look. And at first it was like, yes, we're going to try these, and then after a while it was like, yeah, you know. But she also worked in a restaurant during this time. It was a Piccadilly cafeteria that she worked at actually. Now this is something that she would have done. She liked the ones that were simple and easy. Um, so I'm about to run out of space or time in my video. So let me just say love, light, God bless, good night.